She said we'll be so lit. I told her, say,
hey, when are you going, Juma?
So this UK rapper was in a prime position to be in the same position as I was going to say Fredo, but not Fredo right now. But you know what Fredo's done before all of this news about him. Like, he was one of the biggest rappers in the UK and still is. Asco could have been on the same level. In 2019, he was sentenced to 12 and a half years in prison for his involvement in a county lines operation that distributed crack, cocaine from London, Hackney to Colchester. And he was arrested 6 months after he just signed a deal with Warner Bros, which is reported to be worth up to £1 million. Imagine signing a £1 million deal and then getting sentenced to 12 and a half years. And while you're in prison, you have to get the news that your good friend is now dead and that the person who was responsible was found not guilty of any charges. Well, he's home now. He's been home for about a year so far and he's gearing up to drop his first project since being home. The album is called Perfect Timing. It drops in 8 days and he just did a Thoughts in the Cully interview with Posty. Big up to Posty, man. Killing it with the Thoughts in the Cully. And I thought Asco deserved his own video. He's a big reason as to why rappers these days, no rapper looks broke. Back in the day, rappers would, you can see videos of old rappers, they looked relatively broke. But now you can have somebody who's never rapped before, they're not the richest, but they still got a flex. Asco played a big role in influencing that change, that shift. So give the video a like, guys. Thank you very much. Let's get that out of the way. So Asco hailing out Hackney, formerly known as Mashtown, Mashtown, Margs. Margs was a part of Mashtown. You might know Margs more for his podcast. Hypo, who's his friend who lost his life at a party. They're all a part of Mashtown. And this, I think this is the earliest freestyle I can find from 50 years ago. Tricky as well. You lot might have seen, you've definitely seen Tricky doing interviews. Tricky's been about on social media.
And I'm a hardcore hustler, I'm glad to stop. And I got hardcore W, I'm glad to cut.
And he actually speaks about this Tim Westwood freestyle in his Thoughts in the Cully interview. He says that guys in his area that he looked up to, they told him to come through to the Tim Westwood freestyle and he did his thing and it just went from there. He says that he first started taking music seriously with Straight Drop. That's when he decided he's going to take the music seriously. And it makes sense because this is the first song that he decided to put up on Spotify. And he says in his interview as well, the whole interview, I'm going to try and break down a lot of what he says. He says that he just cared really about getting money and being drippy. He never really, you know what I mean? He never really cared about much else. And people were begging him to take music serious. And then from Straight Drop, that's when he decided, I'm going to start taking music serious. I only started listening from Straight Drop 3. To be honest with you guys, when did that drop? 2018? I was like 16 when this dropped. But I started with Asco's music more when he got arrested because that's when I could actually relate to more of what he's rapping about. You know what I mean? When you're 16, you can't really relate to this stuff. You just think it's cool. So Lit, which I think is his biggest song to date. So that song went absolutely crazy. You heard it everywhere.
I used to hear Straight Drop like in the hood and people would be driving to Straight Drop and that, but then I was getting different traction off of Soul It. That was going off in like the Ibifas and Marbella and all of that and more, just in the club with it, you get me? It was more friendly, innit?
For me, I think the impact it had, it made people speak a lot more Arabic in their songs because now it's normal these days, you'll hear it in common in songs. But back then, I didn't really hear it that much. So when I hear that song, I tell her, say, MashaAllah, I was like, oh crap, like someone's actually implementing Arabic into their raps now. And that was a risk to take because back then, because it was more taboo, like you would receive a lot of backlash for it. And Asco did say that he didn't say it in the clip that I played you, but he does say that he received quite a little bit of backlash. And Straight Drop ×3, the first Asco song that I listened to is the song that Asco says made people say, yo, he needs to get signed. This guy needs to end up getting signed. This was around the time that Fredo was coming up. A bunch of other rappers were coming up as well. So the labels were watching.
You became in the running for the people signing people to say, Asco needs to be signed, you know what I'm saying? And then you obviously got a deal.
Yeah, the phone didn't stop after Soul It. An incident took place that we spoke about on the same interview that one of two interviews that I ever done before, you get me?
Oh, the jury.
And the incident he's talking about is an incident that was used in court to sentence him to 12 and a half years. It was an interview with the very same man he is sitting next to, and it was about an incident that took place where he says that he lost £50,000 of jewelry in Dubai. Sorry, guys. I just can't even say Dubai. You lot know how I feel about that place, bro.
You was in Dubai still. You said on Instagram, I've just lost 50K worth of jewels in Dubai, and I don't know why or how.
Sick and hurt.
And I was thinking, what the f***?
Was that the girls then? Was you with them? Them escorting prosy things. Was this what was happening? Did you get swiped?
Yep, been known. She knows Dubai like that, man. Now girls be getting on how many years later? 5 years later.
Tell
I
truth.
didn't
Tell
get-
truth.
I didn't
Come
get
on,
swiped.
man.
I didn't get swiped. That's 30. I never got swiped. I never got robbed. What actually happened, I couldn't really tell you, you know. It's an L, innit?
'Cause you know
it's
what's
a
so
miss now.
mad?
To be fair, yeah, to be real, like, it's lost, innit? As I said, I know I never got robbed, innit? How I lost it is I never had it on.
That's all that matters. I didn't get robbed. Nobody took my jewels. Yeah, I just don't have them anymore. Nobody took my jewels, but yo, it's like I just lost a minute. I couldn't even tell you. I was bare drunk in it, but nobody took my jewels. Remember that. Well, not long after that, you know, obviously he's the guy in that moment. You know what I mean? Like he's gassed. Like yo, everybody's listening to my music. Like I'm the guy, I'm next up. He didn't realize that during that time, there was Obo on him. They was watching him. He was under surveillance. Him and all of his Codies were under surveillance. Because when he thought he was done with that life, when he thought, yo, it's time to go legit, I'm going to change my life around, bang. They arrested him and they hit him with 12.5 years. And look at this. The court heard the rapper bought 20K, I'm rounding up, worth of jewelry between July and December 2018 and complained of losing 50K worth of jewelry during a trip to Dubai. Now, guys, I think maybe back then, jewelers were more, they didn't really care as much, but nowadays, bro, jewelers are not playing because if you spend more than £10,000 on jewelry, they got to report that to HMRC. There's something they got to do. There's obviously ways to get your watches, get your jewelry and stuff, you know, without going, but I know jewelers, they have to report this stuff and it's hot. Because I know a jeweler that I went to, they had to deal with getting raided before because I don't know why. I'm going to assume it had something to do with that, but after that, like, them man was not taking cash in it. So I don't know. I think maybe they're cracking down more or maybe they just needed to learn the hard way. But I don't know, man. That's what people don't get, man. You're always tracked. Like even with bank accounts, that's what I tell people, bro. You ain't got no job. We've seen it with TR Trizzy. If you ain't got no job, you ain't got no business, you ain't been to uni, and your bank account is going through, your bank statements is saying 50K this month in or 50K out this month. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's fine for now, but when you're under Obo, when you're getting watched, when you're getting investigated, bro, then you're going to find out because they can access 10 years of your banking history, bro. 10 years. We ain't been adults for 10 years, bro. We ain't been adults for 10 years, okay? But they call him a grime artist, and he's not a grime artist, bro. But I don't know what I'd call him. I'll just call him a hustle rapper, I guess. I think that's the best category to put him in. Because I'd put Asco in the category of, like, you know, Z-Stack, FZ, Mogs, like the Mowgli, like there's way more in it. There's way more. But Asco made up to 15 bills a day as the head of a gang distributing heroin and crack cocaine from London to Colchester. Last year, he signed a deal with Warner Bros. That could have been worth up to £1 million. On Friday, he was jailed for 12.5 years after being found guilty of conspiracy to supply Class A drugs. Wood Green Crown Court heard that Asco was involved in a plot to sell drugs via county lines routes from Hackney to Cambridge and Colchester. He was the head of the Bobby line, they say, but the prosecutor, Roger Smart, said that after he signed the deal with Warner Bros, his physical involvement waned, but he retained the financial interest. And this is how you know Asco's keeping it real. Because even in his interview, I'm going to show you the clip in a second, but in the interview, he says that he was actually done with it. Like, I was actually done. And the prosecutors support that claim. While Asco enjoyed an increasing income from his career as a crime artist, he's not a crime artist, it is submitted that he was clearly living beyond his means. It's not hard for them to determine if you're living beyond your means. Police seized designer clothing and shoes from his home in Reading and found almost 12K at his girlfriend's yard. The judge told him, "You are, in my judgment, a man with talent for music who was beginning to make a break from criminality." The judge could see that he was actually done with it, but actions have consequences, man. You can't run away from things. It always catches up to you, bro. It may well be your career's ended before you had a chance to see how far it would take you. However, that is no one's fault but your own. 5 other men were convicted of conspiracy, in connection to Asco's case. And I remember when this news dropped, bro, and everyone thought Asco was done. You know, the fact that he's dropping an album now, he's back, he's still going to do what he needs to do. I respect that highly, bro. Because I'm telling you, when he got sentenced and everybody heard 12.5 years, bro, word where I'm from, word was, yeah, Asco's done. Like, he's done. He's finished. But you guys remember not Yvette Cooper. You guys remember Shabana Mahmood, the Secretary of Prisons or something like that. I don't know. But she's the one who signed the order to get a bunch of prisoners released early. She's the woman who thought it was a good idea to release young Diz. Hey, Well, she also got Asco released. He was already nearing half of his sentence anyway, so he was already going to get out soon, but he ended up getting out slightly earlier. He ended up only serving, I say only, bruv. There's no only for prison time, but he did 40% of his sentence. Out on the 11th of December, rapper freed early. You know what? I'm tired of these ads. One sec, guys. Rapper freed early from jail flaunts new lifestyle with £2 million Rolls Royces. And I remember the media were doing a number on a lot of people who were getting out of jail, and then, you know, they're flexing. It's like, look what the government's doing. Look what they're doing. Look what they're allowing. These people are getting out and they're flexing. There we go. I got that liked already, bro. Asco, yeah.
Fresh off a 6-year tour. Try to mash up man's life, so you know it's only right.
This was a surreal moment. It was a surreal moment seeing Asco, you know, dropping straight drop 5. Like, because we didn't think there would ever be another straight drop, bro. And I see everyone's making their videos on Festify Bounce, so they've got their videos out on the sentence given to Fredo's co-defendant. Well, it might not be Fredo's co-defendants, but the HRB gang members. Hey, my people, if you're enjoying the video, please be sure to give it a like. Costs nothing, takes no time, helps me in the algorithm. Thank you very much. But yeah, they're just trying to say, oh, look, DJ Tiffany Calver is bigging him up. They even mentioned Walks in this interview, saying Walks is giving him good reviews. But come on, man, everyone was happy to see Asco home, bro. They're just showing the reviews. They're even showing, shout out to the Music Connoisseur, what's it called, the X channel on Twitter. Yeah, shout out to them. But while he was in prison, his good friend Hypo ended up being killed at a party. The person who did it was a security guard, and he was found not guilty of murder and manslaughter, and they believe he acted in self-defense. A blood stain the size of a snooker ball formed on his clothes before he dropped to the ground. It happened over here, Woodford Town Football Club. There was a gazebo, a marquee that was put up on the pitch, I'm assuming, but yeah.
When you first got arrested, did you know that they were coming for you, or was it a surprise to you?
I didn't have a clue, bro.
Okay.
And this is what I'm saying to you. It's like, at the time, it's like the devil was on my shoulder, bro, hard, because man signed my deal on Eid. Imagine that, man fasted that whole Ramadan 2018. I signed the actual deal, signed the paperwork on Eid, bro, yeah? 6 months later, I'm in jail, innit? For people that don't know, I was actually done at that point in terms of what I got arrested for and that, yeah? It ended up just biting me in the arse because why for that? But you know, coming back on me, I was already on observation. So even when I got sentenced and that, you can Google it, yeah? So when the judge sentences me, he says, Mr. Allen, we understand you're now focusing on your music career, but for 9 months previous, bearing in mind I was on observation for 15 months. Like I said, when I signed the deal, 6 months later I've gone jail. So for 9 months, they're saying, oh, you was the head of a organization, etc., etc. We now know you're a musician, you pay taxes and that now, but we're not hearing that. Because basically, they could have allowed me, but it's like, the further I was going away, them times I didn't have a clue. I'm on tour with Fredo for his album in 017. I'm on the oboe that whole time. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And little did I know, they was always coming to pinch me, but these times now, I'm thinking I'm getting further and further away from the road, you know what I mean? And that's why it was kind of hard for me when I got that. So it's like I've got nicked, like cool, that was a shock to my system. Then I'm saying, alright, cool, we're gonna bust this. Then I've got the G. Alright, cool, so we've been found guilty. And I'm saying anything under 10. And then they whacked me with 12 and a half years. They'll say, it's done, it's over. It's over, you get me? When they're actually cuffing me, you know, bro, like, they're cuffing me, it's like 5 in the morning, talking about, oh, we're arresting you. I'm on this is some joke thing, you get me? You got the wrong person type thing, you with me? But in a nutshell, bro, yeah, it was just unfortunate, innit? And I just didn't get out quick enough.
That's what it is. You just didn't get out quick enough, man. If you took music seriously earlier, then that might not happen, bro. But everything happens in life for a reason, man. Everything happens in life for a reason. And one thing I rate about Asco after watching this full interview, bro, is like his mentality, bro. Like, you got to be mentally strong to deal with these things. But you again, what else can you do but deal with it? Crack up. You got to deal with it. But he speaks about how, like, he's never really loved music. Like, he never really dreamed of being a rapper. He just did it because he was good at it and it was a way out. And when he says that, he's like, oh, people ain't gonna get what you're saying. But Asco, bro, I completely hear exactly what you're saying, bro. Because for me, when I first decided to go lich, like, the first thing was, I'm gonna do this music thing, innit? That's what I said, because I was talking to my brethren. They were telling me, yo, like, just do music. To them, it's a no-brainer. Just do freaking music. But I don't enjoy music, bro. I don't enjoy shooting a music video. I don't enjoy going to the studio. I enjoy listening to beats and maybe just freestyling by myself or maybe writing a little bit, but I don't enjoy the process process, bro. But I have a passion for it at the same time, if that makes sense. And my peoples thought I was going mad. They thought I was going crazy when I said, nah, bun that, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna get a job, this, that. Peoples thought I was actually needed to be sectioned, bro. But a big part of life is also doing what you enjoy. And we don't know, maybe Asco's found a love for music in jail. Maybe he wrote bare songs in jail, or maybe he's come home and realized, okay, this is the best route for me to take right now. We don't know what happened to his deal. We're not sure what happened there. On Straight Drop 5, the first song he dropped when he came home, it doesn't look like it was distributed by Warner, so yeah.
When you're back as the grown man Asco and you dropped Straight Drop 5, what was that experience like for you?
It was a bit surreal, bro. I actually came out on my birthday. Imagine that. My release date wasn't until March, just God. But I wasn't really supposed to be home until March. But because, if you heard, remember they was letting out a lot of people early. Man got 40%. Instead of doing 50%, I got 40% of my sentence. But by the time that actually got implemented and it was in, I'd already done like more or less my whole bird. So basically I came out, 5 months earlier than I was supposed to come out. And then there was 2 dates that they gave. If you had 5 years and under and you was eligible for the 40% thing, you was coming out on September the 10th. And if you had 5 years and over, you was coming out on this October the 22nd. That's my birthday, imagine that. Man got that news in like August. Yeah, bro, man came out the gates on my earth strong, you get me?
But guys, I recommend you go and watch this Asco interview. It's a great interview. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're gonna do a live stream now because the HRB case is just mad. We got some news about that. We're gonna do a live stream. I feel like going live. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love to every single one of you watching.